Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on the first day of your weekend for our daily English news edition. I'm Daniel Cook, your host, Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. The month of November has marked another revenue shortage in the state budget. According to the preliminary data from the Ministry of Finance, the total revenue for the period of January to November was about 342 billion lek, which is about 16 billion less than the plan. The budget was revised downward at the end of August because of poor revenue performance, and the shortage of 16 billion lek is only for the period between September and November, coinciding with the operation against informality. For the full 10-month period, the shortage had been about 11 billion lek, but November brought another shortage of 5 billion. Compared to the first 11 months of last year, the budget revenue increased by about 4%. The weakness in the revenue collection has been noted throughout 2015. The failure to realize the plan of the fiscal administration forced the government to review and decrease the budget in August. In September, they launched the operation against informality, which was expected to increase the state revenue. It is now clear that their expectations were not met, and the data shows that the shortage of 16 billion lek comes only from the period of September to November. About 70% of the shortage comes from the tax and customs directories. The government has announced a bonus of up to 6 months' salary for tax employees if they reach the goals of the budget, but this was opposed by the socialist MP Ylli, who made the following statement on Facebook. "I do not want to defraud the merits of the policemen, the military, the firefighters, even of tax employees or anyone else, but in my opinion, retirees, invalids, veterans and families living on economic aid should be the first to receive bonuses. You should start with the indisposed," said Mr. Brace. The Durrës police have announced that a 1-month-old baby died today from exposure to the cold. The baby has been living in a tent under a bridge with her 18-year-old mother, who had just come from Elbasan to Durrës and was begging for a living. During the night, the baby had a high fever due to exposure and died upon arrival at the hospital. The mother says that they had been living in very difficult conditions for more than 15 days. The Ombudsman Ylli has reacted to the story, saying that things like this are unacceptable and must never be repeated. He called on the local government to take measures to care for the homeless and the poor and keep them from dying in the streets. "We should all show compassion and solidarity to the poor and the homeless in order to avoid these human tragedies," declared the Ombudsman. The Minister of Justice, Ylli Manjani, sees the justice reform as a matter that should be up to the Parliament rather than the experts. In a conversation with the students of the Law University, he said that things will never change if the court continues to be influenced by political power. He said, "The court is not doing its job properly because of corruption, but the problem will start to be solved if the courts are removed from political control. Today we do not have that, and this is the essence of the reform. This is the essence of what we want to build. We want to construct a court that will be independent from politics. You are at a stage when you can take the situation under control and build something new. If you do this, I believe that you will solve the problem," said Minister Manjani. The Minister of Justice said that there can be no integrity without this reform. He went on, "The court is a place where the citizens must feel that their problems are solved. It must be the place where justice and equality before the law are guaranteed. But there will always be corruption if it is controlled by politics," concluded the minister. On many occasions, the Minister of Justice has criticized the way that the justice reform is being done, stating that the future of Albania depends on it. The director of the Labor Inspectorate, Ylli, has presented the achievements of his institution in 2015. He announced that the number of fines that have been imposed on businesses has decreased, while the number of insured employees has increased this year. According to him, this is a sign of the increased awareness of businesses for creating a safe environment for their employees. The head of the Labor Inspectorate encouraged the citizens not to hesitate to denounce violations, as the penalties for employers who fire those who denounce them will be severe. The Labor Inspectorate issued certificates to those inspectors who did professional work in 2015. Democratic Party has accused Prime Minister Ylli Rama of violating the customs law by not declaring the paint he carries with him when he goes abroad. The Secretary for Public Relations of the Democratic Party, Grida Duma, has said that this is a testimony that the law applies only to the citizens and not to the Prime Minister. She said, "This is another proof of the state injustice. This is the state of Ylli Rama, where he and his ministers are above the law." Ylli Rama has declared himself untouchable in the same way as when he did not allow the investigation of the Ches issue in Parliament. Mrs. Duma declared that the Prime Minister imprisons the people over a sales receipt, but he has repeatedly violated the law for over 2 years. She added that the citizens will stop this injustice with their protests. The corrupt and criminal state of Ylli Rama will be removed from its foundations, just like the bunker. This time of the government is finished, concluded Duma. The Minister of Transport, Haxhinasto, has appealed to the citizens not to damage road signs, or else there will be penalties. Accompanied by the head of the road authority, Haxhinasto inspected the work on improving and repairing the road signs on the Durrës-Kapstitsa road, an investment worth 8 billion lek. He had this to say: "It is very important that the citizens understand that this is an investment that is funded by the Albanian taxpayers. These are their contributions, and they directly affect road safety. Recently, we approved some amendments that will impose fines and other measures for anyone damaging the road or vandalizing the roads, which will vary from 25,000 to 100,000 new lek," said Haxhinasto. The Minister of Transport stated that the investment will help to reduce the risk of accidents in 38 places that have been defined as danger zones. According to Haxhinasto, another major project that is underway is the maintenance of 1,300 kilometers of the national road. The energy distributor OSHA has announced an improvement of the two primary indicators, losses and collections, which directly affect the energy supply for the citizens. The level of losses in the power distribution network has fallen sharply, and the revenues have increased. The latest data indicates an improvement in the leading indicators, affecting energy supply for the citizens and the finances of the company. For the period of January to November of this year, OSHA collected a total of 59.4 billion lek, 16.5 billion more than the same 11 months last year, and 24.4 billion more than the same period in 2013. In terms of losses, however, the company recorded 30.9%, compared to only 6.8% in 2014 and 13.1% in the year before that. The energy distributor says that the recent indicators show that the reform in the energy sector is on the right track, ensuring higher quality services and more investments in the future. That's the end of our edition for today, folks. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and please join us again on Monday for more news in English. Thanks, and have a good night.